welcome back to another session with Ferdouse on drawing with the Paintology drawing app on your phone. So if you're an Android user, you can download this app from the Google Play Store, and I'll show you here. This is the app. You just install that. You'll see a bunch of screenshots here showing some impressive drawings all made on the phone. And you could do the same, providing, of course, you learn some of the techniques which I'm going to show you. So the mistake many people make that digital art has to be done in a particular way, which is not true at all. It's the application has evolved, so made the usage of the digital art or the creation of digital has been more driven by the application as opposed to developing the techniques, the art techniques that many traditional artists in oils, watercolors, charcoal, pencils are more familiar with because they have simple tools. And so it's boomed. Digital art naturally has boomed, but only because the entry requirements are very low, because there are tools to cater to many of the drawing stuff that people are familiar with. And the reason is most of the digital art is recognizable as digital art, and because of the tools, extensive use of the digital tools. Like, for example, I'll show you this drawing that I did of the eagle, on the live stream. So this is the way the tutorials live YouTube streams are being presented today and going forwards for the rest of the week. Is I basically start off a drawing in the Paintology channel, which you can see here, and then I continue that almost immediately to the Ferdouse channel. So if you look at the description of this live session tutorial, you will see that it basically it basically continues from part one and then part two. Part two is where we complete the final drawing piece. Yeah, so this is what we did yesterday. I stayed to the challenge, and then within the 2 hours that's allocated to us, I completed this drawing. But of course, this was from a reference image, and I want to encourage you to draw in a manner that I'm going to show you, which will allow you to open up digital art in a different light or a different perspective, not the way you see generally being used around today. So you can easily mistake this artwork not to have been done on my phone, but on another medium. It's because I don't use significant tool sets. I use one brush, and I have applied my art techniques, which is most fundamental to drawing. These art techniques are sought after by some of the great artists, because techniques is what defines the type of painting and drawing you see by YouTube creators in any art medium. I'm not talking about digital, in any art medium, because they have practiced and developed these unique techniques that takes them to gives the mastery of the medium they're using, and hence produce artwork that's mesmerizing. Yeah, so that's how it works. Now let me show you. This is typically the way I draw. I'm going to introduce quick intro. This is my phone, Note 10 Plus. So it's about, I think it's about 6.6-inch screen size. But you're perfectly well drawn on 5-inch screens. So you can draw with your finger, which is perfectly fine. But if you're drawing more and more, it'd be advisable to buy a cheap stylus. I'm not talking about the expensive stylus. Don't, if you're beginning, do not take your mind out of having the most skill tool set, having the best app, or having the best so and so. Because remember, you're developing art skills, and you're not going to do that. The app or the tools are not going to make you a good artist. It's the techniques that you develop from drawing that's going to make you a good artist. Okay, so let's see what we have here. This is the other resources I want to show you. Typically, before I jump to the where you can get the reference image for today's drawing, I'm going to show you the Google Classroom. I encourage you to join the free Google Classroom on how to draw with the Paintology and acquire some of the fundamental core skills of art. Okay, so this is a comprehensive step by step, which refers to many of the tutorials you will find on the Paintology app. And then you can follow this. And believe me, your skills in art is the kind of skills you learn are actually core skills, not the tools that many of the apps refer, many of the teachers, when they teach digital drawing, they always ultimately just access tool after tool after tool. Yeah, I don't do that. I actually show you techniques using the minimum set of tool, like the line brush. The eagle you saw earlier was with one brush, and I created it using the density setting of that brush, the opacity. You'll be amazed what the opacity or the density settings of the brush can do. If you, I will demonstrate it hopefully in the class. But this time we're going to use a shade brush. But I'll talk about it a bit more. So I encourage you to join this Google Classroom. You'll find it in the description, just halfway down. That links to the Google Classroom. You have to have a Gmail account, and that's it. You can go and practice. And then if you're really serious about art, and not just digital art, but any art in particular, any medium, I encourage you to do that. I come from a traditional background, and I'm also happen to be a good digital artist, but I also developed the Paintology app essentially for the development of these art skills. So I have combined the two. You rarely find someone who is an artist push a technology app, but I happen to be a technologist and an artist at the same time. So the two things can work hand in hand. If you're wondering why, these two unrelated subjects can actually work in sync, but you never know unless you try. And I'm a big experimenter of stuff, and I actually, when I try and acquire a skill, I try to take it to big heights, and that's really what drives me. And I hope that's why you're here as well, so you can be inspired and also feel that this journey is going to be very rewarding. So this is the one I want to show you. The other bit is the Quora platform. I encourage you to join this Quora, Paintology.Quora, and then I have so many drawings that I've done. This one is also a drawing. So Paintology.Quora, please follow that, because it will give you updated information on what I'm doing. I usually finish something and then put updated information. So I encourage you to follow me on the Paintology.Quora or my Ferdouse profile. But this will give you a good insight into how I'm steering the Paintology app and all the drawings that are there on the YouTube. So I currently have two YouTube channels, as you know, the Ferdouse channel and the Paintology channel, which is currently this one that I'm showing you we're on. So please do support me and look at this and follow me on this Paintology.Quora. At least I'll know. And thank you for the appreciation of the drawings I've done. I would also, like to have more detailed descriptions or comments on what you feel or what you think and how you want to move and how you feel about drawing in general, if you want to take it up or not. It gives me good insight into what to show you in terms of the people who are looking at these videos. It'd be very helpful, okay? So let's go to the back. So that was the core I wanted to show you. The next bit is the how do you get to the information on the live sessions that have gone past or coming up. So if you go here, from the home page, I'll show you again. Sorry, I clicked too early. You'll see from the home page, just below the screenshot of the Learn Draw, there's a button, Daily Step-by-Step Video Tutorials. Click on that, and then you'll come to a page. You see 8th of October, it tells you ahead in advance. I posted this yesterday to show you what I'm going to do. And here I've got the reference image. This is the Indian actress, famous Indian actress. And I picked this because of the dark and the contrasting shades. So I'm going to use the shade brush to show you how easily you can make pencil-like drawings just right on your phone. So you can see that I haven't completed the drawing, but the previous ones, like the eagle you see, I've completed the drawing, and I post it after I've done it. And you'll see many of these past, there I've done that, many of these past drawings that I've done. And it's all about understanding. It's a tiger there. It's another sunset. I'm beginning to think there's a fish, you see, I did as well. That was quite complex, harder than I'd imagined, but I managed to complete that. So you can see the capabilities of this. It's not one genre type of drawing, it's many types of drawing that you can do. So first of all, we're going to download the, let's see where we are. Sorry, I missed it. So let's go back to that. We're going to download that reference image that we're going to do. So I click on a download image, and then you can do this for any type of image. Paintology allows you, it encourages you to learn from reference images, because that's what has been the key to some of the great artists. They've always used camera obscura, all kinds of projection tools over the last few centuries to refine their techniques. Even Leonardo da Vinci used art techniques to refine his drawing capabilities. And so any good artist or any artist who seeks to be better than where they are always looks for tools to help them. And of course, that allowed me, the fact that I've drawn this way on the Paintology allows me to make photorealistic drawings right on my phone. And you can see some of them if you go to watch the videos that I've shown. Go back a little bit and you'll see some of the, like Brad Pitt, the astronaut. This was all done by freehand, just by looking at a reference image, because I have trained my muscles and memory to understand tones, which is one of the fundamental things of good drawing. And that's key to making rapid progress. If you go to any art class, the first thing in drawing or painting, they're going to talk about tones, color tones in painting, and tones and shading in drawing as well. And that's what it's all about, tones and values. You may have come across many teachers explaining that from the traditional point of view, but not from the digital. And it's quite unfortunate they don't explain it from the digital, because many of the digital art is not created with that fundamental understanding. It's created with a set of tools that takes away that fundamental understanding and knowledge that's so important to making drawings. So let's go ahead and go click on Draw, Trace Image, and there you see I've downloaded that image there. So this is what we have here. It's the image of Deepak, I believe. She's the Indian actress and very famous. So I've got this image in black and white, and because I want to show you the pencil drawing, so we're gonna first click on this brush tool on the top, and then we're gonna go to the shade brush. Okay, good, got it. All right, good. And now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you what this represents. This top half represents the reference image that this picture sits on, yeah? And it allows me, the color picker, to pick out the various colors or the shade. Clear that, okay? So you can see if I color picker on her hair there, you can see the color is black. Yeah, it became black, right? If I pick her forehead right there, you see how light that color is? And if I click on the chin, color picker chin, you can see what the color is there, a little bit of darker gray. So this drawing, the reason why artists, most artists, well, some of the good artists that you see take a pencil and turn that into a wonderful piece of art is because they understand tones and values. They know exactly how to apply the right tone or a close to the value of the tone of the reference image by applying the right pressure, by understanding their simple tool, which is the brush, which is the actual, not the brush, the pencil. So they know exactly how to get the right tone and right shading. You've probably seen lots of exercises, dark to light, right? And when it comes to drawing, that's the very first thing any artist in drawing will do. And this is and the same is true of here, but digital is way more versatile, way more powerful, and it's the reason why I've been able to excel in my drawing capability. In fact, you know, I was very pleased with the fact that I'm teaching you guys these live streams, because in the last 2 months I have been doing it. I can tell you my skills have gone a few notches to where I was before, and I can't wait to do some more creative drawings on my tablets, and of course I also use some bigger screens, but that's another story. So this is what we're going to do. So how do we go about it? Well, first thing is my aim is to stick to the shade brush. So anytime you come to a drawing, you want to think about how you're going to do this drawing. Like, so you've got this wonderful portrait, dark contrast, the eyes, the eyebrows, the hair, and then the skin tone. This is a really good exercise on the shade brush. So this is what we're going to do. Just watch what I do initially. Is I'm going to pick, I actually did these portraits a few weeks back using the combination of line and shade brush. But for simplicity's sake, I'm going to use just the shade brush. So I've got the grayscale tone. Remember, you've got to switch the grayscale here. So I'm going to switch the grayscale. What does that do? Okay, let's look at it again. If I switch on the grayscale, I've got a color bar on the bottom, right? But if I switch on the grayscale, what happens? I've got a grayscale bar on the bottom. This is extremely useful for you to pick color tones for your drawing. So remember, this bottom half is your drawing. So let's say I pick the grayscale here, and I pick the brush size 40%, and then I'm just going to draw. Look, that's actually happens to be the grayscale tone that allows me to pick the colors, and let's pick a bigger color, and then just shade. Notice what happens. It's like a wonderful pencil with, look, if I go like this, that builds up the colors. See that? Just like a pencil, right? That's effectively a pencil. Nothing more, right? Okay, and then you can change that tone so it doesn't go beyond that tone, right? Beyond this mid-tone. So I'll show you why it won't go beyond the mid-tone. You can continuously paint like this. See, it won't go beyond this tone that I have set. So if I set it here, it would reach that color by shading, but you won't go beyond it. Notice it's not as dark as this one, which is the darkest here. So if we were to go dark here, see that, how dark that is? That's, so you can see this creates like a pencil-like effect. And I actually used it a couple of years ago when I found out the shade brush was quite a useful tool for pencil drawing. So I have a whole section on the tutorials category section on pencil drawings, right? So let's leave that, discard that, and then I'm going to show you. So in the tutorials, see, there's pencil drawing, and there's so many ways. These actual drawings, believe it or not, was done using the pencil shade brush, yeah? So you can follow this video. This one has a video associated with it, so you can actually open this tutorial, then close. See this actually, and then toggle between your tutorial, and now you can use the shade brush and follow the video, okay? There. Just like I've done it on the video. So you can follow that. This is the pencil, discard that. So this is the pencil drawing section of the tutorial. So you can make exceptionally high realistic drawings like I've done here. You see, this is a freehand lips drawing, shading, but I don't expect you to do freehand drawing at this level without getting enough. This is one of my favorites, which is the froggies, and that looks pretty photorealistic, so I was quite impressed with that. So it's kind of this colored pencil drawing as well. And so you got the paint by numbers as well, and a few other trace method is a very powerful method of drawing. So let's go back. Community is where you can share your artwork with all the people. Yeah. And there's this guy who's trying to do the nose. Unfortunately, couldn't get far. It's quite funny. But anyway, I'll give him a comment and say, you forgot the shading. Okay, so let's go ahead, open up that image again, right? So we've got everything, the grayscale. And so how do we go about this? You might think, well, I can do an outline. Okay, let's do an outline, yeah? Outline is easy in trace mode, and it's very comfortable way of getting in. So I'm going to go 2%, and then I'm going to select this somewhere here, and then I'm going to keep this in the top. Remember, your reference image is here in the top half. That reference image owns this with the color picker, and the color picker will work on your drawing, but you have nothing there at the moment. So this will be your drawing here on this side, yeah? And when you go all the way to the left side is your complete drawing. All the way is the reference image. It's pretty logical, right? And I keep the cursor just above the midway point, okay? So let's keep that cursor above the midway point just for now, so we can trace the image. So I've set the brush size and hardness of that shade brush is at 100%, and then it's at about 2%. So watch what I do here. Right, just do that. Just follow it, just like sketching. Nothing more than sketching. See that? It's not any different to sketching. And this is how you will improve your sketching, yeah? Right, and then if you want to get to the details, and I encourage you to do that, is zoom in. You see this capability of zooming, rotating. It's just like when someone does a pencil drawing. What do? do during the process of drawing. You've seen them. They don't keep the A4 size paper or letter size paper absolutely vertical. They are moving their arms, they're moving their hands, they're moving, rotating the paper. Even the paper is upside down sometimes. And this will allow you to do the same, but it's much more comfortable because it's on your phone. You don't have to move your phone. You just rotate the image, yeah? Okay, so just going above that, just following that chin there, and then doing her eyes. Very easy. This is such a comfortable way of getting a quick sketch out, and you can do that for any of your families. They'll be quite impressed. This is a sketch. It's not the outline drawing that I have seen. Outline or line drawing. Line drawing is, you need to talk to my daughter about that. She's an expert in that. She's taught me a few things. She says with line drawing, you're not sketching like this. This is a sketch. You can see how I'm sketching it. There. I'm not going to, I want to make this as close. My aim is to make it as close to this, reference image that we have. Look at those eyes, the dark here, and then there's a pupil here. This, how is this helping you? It's really improving your drawing strokes. And if you think you can't draw, you probably, because you've seen some of the students, or when you were young, who took drawing and just pushed it to a whole new level, discouraging you from showing your work piece, right? And that's sad, because they have a good understanding of what they need to do. They're not shy of making mistakes, and you shouldn't be as well. So you should just practice. Let's see what we got now. Yeah, you see how quickly we did that. So quick. It's none of the tools that of digital tools, just like drawing in traditional. I'm not doing anything different. Like a pencil and paper. And if you think, oh yeah, using a stylus, I can't feel the pen. I can't feel the pen or pencil. Oh, come on. This is silly, that is, when you think like that. It's because you haven't done enough of it. I've actually, that thought never entered my mind once I was 1 week or a few drawings into my digital, thinking about you don't have the same feel as traditional. And why do we compare traditional? Would you compare watercolor to oils? No, you wouldn't, would you? It's a different medium. It has a different approach, and you should enjoy what it is. But because since I come from a technology background, I've developed techniques exploiting the digital medium to bring you Paintology, which really enhances your skills over. I would say, if you ask me how quickly could I do a photorealistic drawing, if you asked me to do it in traditional, it would take me 3-4 times longer, and I would have to buy all these materials. But if you asked me to do it in digital, I'd be so happy. I'd say, just give me an hour or two, I'll come back with the drawing. So this is really fun, and even if you're not serious about art, but you want to learn about art, this is a perfect way to keep you happy while, away from the bustle of social media that everyone seems to gravitate to. This is time out just for yourself. Right, so tracing it. Look at this, what we've got so far. You see how quick that is? So simple, and anyone could do this. So let me, I might have to pick another drawing because this is going to be fairly quick, but it won't be if I'm going to try and turn it into a photorealistic drawing, yeah? So I think we got pretty much everything, right? Let's have a look. Got the ears, some lines coming around here, the neck muscles, the neck muscles are here. When I talk about neck muscles, they actually shape these shading areas. Can you see around the neck? And they create this neck structure that all of us take for granted and familiar with. All right, so that's what we have. And let's take the subtle nose here. Right, and then this bit, then this bit. And you'll see that it takes more shape. That's it. That's the first step of our drawing. Let's save this. Okay. So I'm going to say portrait 1. Give it a name and then save. Okay. So the next bit we're going to do, let me actually open it up again. I've been told by since I've got an actual prototype of the next release that's going to come out in perhaps 2-3 weeks, and the developer has told me to use this app, pre-release app, so they can do some more testing. So we're introducing some fine stuff on the fine new features that you're going to enjoy. So remember, this app, if you've come looking for and comparing this app with another app, forget it. It's just not going to work. This app is probably the only app of its kind, drawing app, that teaches you arts and techniques, and not just a doodling tool where you can have any brush, access any tools, and just to draw and develop your drawing methods that way. That's fine. That works really well for anime, illustrations, vector graphics, and all kinds of other illustrations, brochures, logos. In fact, I use Photoshop. I'm a very advanced user of Photoshop. Would I use it for drawing? No, because the pleasure for me of drawing is just like in traditional methods, getting lost by drawing, not spending half the time accessing tools, but pure pleasure of drawing, just like I've shown you. So you get to my paintings, and then you can open up the image again and resume the work. It's very simple, yeah? So I'm beginning to think I've got a number of ways that I can approach this. So what do you think? Let's try this then, eh? How about we select a brush? Oh, we're still in the shade brush. We're not going to use the hardness. I'm not going to confuse the issue. 30%, let's say, yeah? And then we select this side of the thing. You believe it or not, so I pick the color picker and selecting the tones on the forehead. That's all I'm doing. And believe it or not, we are actually laying down some gray tones. You may think no, but just watch what I've done. See, I can see very subtle shades of tones that you may not see. But that's because I've trained my mind with drawing this way. See, I can see subtle shades of darkness and light, which you think are not. So I'm just going the forehead and just looking at this tone, trying to identify with the light tones. because the face is so subtle. It's one of the, that's why most people have challenges when it comes to drawing the face, because they've got very subtle tones that are going on. Let's see what we've done. See that? We've laid down the subtle tones, and then here, you can see, these are the subtle tones that we've laid down. It may not look obvious to you, but believe it or not, that's the tones that we are. Make sure you select, yeah, select the color picker. So let's go all the way around the face. This is a new approach I'm using, you know, color picker. And why am I using the color picker? Because it allows me to pick these shades. Because remember, we're learning about tones. Color picker, and then I'm just rubbing the area around here, just going softly. Color picker. Then you get a really good sense of what these tones are. And then, of course, we can reduce this a big brush, 27%. That's because we're covering a broad area. When we get to the eyes, we're not obviously going to switch to a smaller brush size. But look at these tones. My eyes are looking at the subtle shades of tones. There's a light white tone there, lightish tone, and then it's all a little darker, okay? Color tones. So definitely, and remember that the tones on the side where the light is not being reflected is actually a lot darker than the eye makes it out to be. The eye has some kind of a perpetual method of trying to make something appear like you can see it, probably for survival techniques perhaps. Even though it's in the dark, it will actually make you resemble something that is something that you may see during the day, right? And I've done some excellent drawings that depicts that, especially when so it's called the tonal threshold. I don't know if artists know that, but there is a tonal threshold where above it, everything looks like lighter than they are, but they're in fact quite dark. Just getting the flesh tones here, and you do the same. Just get the tones. Look at where when I'm picking a color, where the see the cursor, how it moves. Yeah, so that will tell you where that gray tone is. See how that moved under the chin. See that? That's really does help you tremendously. It was the reason I built this in this manner. Right, so this is effectively like drawing with pencil. Have I gone to access to any tools? No, I'm not going to access tools for the eyes or anything like that, because people think you should create a perfect circle of the eye. I mean, if you do, then unfortunately your art's going to look like it's animated. Let's see what we've done. Not bad, is it? Very interesting. And then now what we can do is let's take that down to about 18% or something, yeah? Whatever you feel comfortable with, because I want to get to the small areas, underneath the eyebrows and the eyebrows, okay? So just go there. And then, of course, you can zoom as well. I would encourage you to zoom, yeah? Zoom into your drawing. There, like that. And then let's pick out these subtle tones that are happening at the smaller, higher resolution, yeah? Look at that tone underneath. It's a beautiful darker tone. All eyes have a nice dark tones underneath. And we can go back to a drawing and see if we've managed to capture all the tones that we need around the eyes. It's actually a new method that I'm just using. Okay. Okay, don't worry about if the colors don't quite match, because we're going to perfect it. We're going to get it down to a nice level. So let's now move to this right eye. Okay. Let's zoom in. Okay. And then let's do the same. We've got the smaller brush. I don't know if that's actually big. It's hard to say. So I might use it a little bit smaller. You decide what works for you, okay? Remember, the cursor is always just the midway position there. So the eyebrow shall look dark tones there and some light tones there. Just bring it in. So you capture the tones there. Look at the dark tones around here. And then here. Okay, and then of course don't forget the dark tones of the pupil. So you'd be surprised that your lack of understanding of tones is because the eyes try to fool us. Yeah, and when we come to draw, we can break down this appreciation of tones a lot more different. See it? See it? Have we captured everything? I think we have, except that I feel that the eyebrow needs to extend there as well. I think we've done a great job here. And a great job. You can see tones are happening here, around here. So I'm just going to show you there. Let's see what we have here. So we built the tones around there. Okay, now I'm going to do what sorry about this, what my developer has said is to save and then open it up again. Don't worry, you can do the same as well. But you don't have to do it because your app that you've downloaded from the perfectly fine. Oops, that's the wrong one. I picked the one without the trace. This is the trace, okay? With the D on it. All right, it's looking good, isn't it? So now what we can do is we got 13, 14%. Now let's play around with the lips here, isn't it? I think this is one of the features of actresses like Priyanka. You know, they can be immediately recognized by their lovely lips. So I think we got a good. Again, you see how I'm picking up the tones? I've got 14%. You decide what brush size you want. If it's not working for you, change the brush size, okay? I'm not doing the details. I'm just laying down tone. I'm going to take that down. I'm getting brave now. I'm going to take it down to 11, 10%, yeah? I feel like I can do this quite quickly. Okay, there. Okay, and then I do something else which some of you might have noticed is that I follow the strokes, the direction of anything that I draw. Like for example, this nose, I'm following it in the direction. See, I'm just following the light tones. There's a darker tone here. And I still have, and that you can even pick tones, the color picker, and much more granular if you wanted to, right? Let's refine this. Now, this is the eye we have right now. Let's refine it with the smaller 10%. And then, of course, you guessed it, we're gonna go and to even lighter, darker color, not darker, smaller brush, in order to tackle these tiny little areas. Because this line here you see here, that's not possible with 10%. So we're gonna get close and really get to the details. And I'm just following tones. I'm not following anything. I'm not really doing any drawing as such. Yeah, I'm sure you feel that the way I'm drawing is just laying down tones, whatever tones I can find. And then I'm going to actually reduce the brush size and really work on the details. Look how the work is coming out, except for that little line at the top, right? There, but there is a tone here that we haven't picked here. Right, so let's put that in. Right? Yes, darker tone. Right? Do you see that? Good. It's actually quite interesting. I'm almost feeling what I can get it, what I'll be able to achieve with this. Look, there's a dark tone, dark. This is really will help you in your portrait drawing, shading in general. So you've got a good brush size. So you can stay in your side and see if you've captured some of these tones. There's a darker tones here, right? So let's capture that, isn't it? The eyebrow, look at that. Very dark tones here, so I'm going to capture that. Just capture that. Okay, so let's move to her other eye, yeah? Let's drag it. Just drag with pinching. So again, look at the smaller brush. So smaller brush, we get into much more detail. Yeah, and more of the tonal colors that we want to achieve. So this is an excellent practice for you to really understand. Look at the color palette, how many gray tones we picked. You could not, if you did a flat 1D drawing, an outline drawing, that's going to be one or two of these tones. But if you want to do pretty good drawing, you need to have these range of tones, and the tones are easily picked up from using this digital color picker. I think I got some of the color tones, except maybe some black here, a little darker. What do you say? Some dark here, right? There, I can see it, dark. And then we're going to get towards the last bit, which is the very fun bit of getting a smaller brush. And you can see here what we've done. She's beginning to look like her, isn't it? The shade brush. So how are we doing for time? Oops. I believe we might have to cut this and then continue. But now let's do the hair, right? Now look at this hair. It's got these light dark tones. So we're going to lay down the broad tones first. So I believe this brush can be increased, right? You can decide. And then I'm just looking at this tones that are happening on the hair and just laying down the colors. That's all. So we're going to try and get this hair done, the broad tones of the hair, right there. Look, some colors there. Just get them down. That's it. then pick the tones here and then just... Right, so you can actually switch between, if you click on the left button, you can see you can switch between, so you don't have to keep dragging it yourself. Yeah, that's a really fast way. It's all these little tools that you may not think are useful, but it turns out they're perfectly made for assisting you in the drawing. Right there. You could quite easily use a different... There's pretty much like... here. Okay, just trying to get the tones. Look at this black color. There, oops. Just put that down. Now you can see that's like a background. So I've got the dark tone here. Look at that all the way down here. And I'm not worried about making mistakes. I'm not being a perfectionist here, you see. Just... see what I'm doing? There. This really helps you improve your drawing. If you think you can't do that, then you should tell me. It's why you're having difficulty doing it. It's not yours. I reckon most of it is down to the fact that you're not really, you don't have the confidence. Probably it's down to confidence, lack of confidence. Nothing else really. Okay. I think we've done a good job here. So get the black hair under the ear. That's the one, that's the hair. So we got some of the bulk of the and when you do this, believe me, when you come to do what do you call it? The actual drawing in freehand, you'll find that you've excelled your ability. Most people think that photorealism is done in traditional materials, but you can see power of the digital medium when you draw like this. Okay. Right, so we got the basis of the thing. I think we're going to stop here, and then I'm going to have a few minutes break, and then we'll jump on to the next tutorial, okay, which is, you'll find the link, part 2, on the Ferdouse channel, which I will start in about 5 minutes. But this we will just finish here, and then we'll continue to the next. So hopefully I'll see you there. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.